Welcome back, dear seekers of shadows and whispers, to another spine-chilling installment of Most Haunted Cemeteries in the World. In this sixth episode, we delve deeper into the hallowed grounds where the dead are said to rise, not in decayed resurrection but in spectral form. These cemeteries are more than final resting places. They are thresholds between worlds, where the veil is thin, and the echoes of lives long extinguished reverberate through time. From ancient crypts buried beneath ivy-clad tombstones to sprawling necropolises steeped in tragedy, these sacred sites hold secrets that defy explanation and invite us to confront the unknown. Cemeteries have always been liminal spaces, places suspended between life and death, memory and oblivion. They serve as reminders of mortality, yet for some, they are also arenas of the supernatural, where restless spirits linger, bound by unresolved grief, unfinished business, or untold horrors. Each cemetery we explore in this episode carries its own dark history, whispered through rustling leaves, cold breezes, and faint cries carried on the wind. Whether you're a skeptic seeking evidence, or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these haunted graveyards promise encounters that will leave an indelible mark on your soul. In this journey, we'll traverse continents and centuries, uncovering tales of love lost, vengeance unfulfilled, and tragedies too great for even death to silence. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of catacombs, wander among weathered headstones bearing names erased by time, and tread cautiously through burial grounds rumored to house portals to the afterlife. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to venture into these eerie realms, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of the world's most infamous cemeteries, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. Père Lachaise Cemetery, Paris's portal to the paranormal, nestled in the bustling heart of Paris, amidst cobblestone streets and the hum of modern life, lies Père Lachaise Cemetery, a sprawling necropolis that serves as both a monument to human achievement and a sanctuary for the restless dead. Established in 1804, this iconic burial ground is home to luminaries such as Oscar Wilde, Jim Morrison, and Edith Piaf, their graves drawing thousands of admirers annually. Yet beneath its picturesque pathways and ornate mausoleums lies a darker narrative, one whispered in hushed tones by locals and visitors alike. Père Lachaise is not merely a place of remembrance. It is a realm where the boundaries between the living and the dead blur, and the spirits of those interred refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. One of the most enduring legends tied to Père Lachaise revolves around the grave of François Raguet, a lesser-known figure whose name has become synonymous with paranormal activity. According to local lore, Raguet was a soldier during the Napoleonic Wars who died under mysterious circumstances. His body was hastily buried without proper rites, leaving his spirit unsettled and angry. Visitors to his modest tombstone report hearing faint whispers emanating from the surrounding trees, as though voices are trapped within the branches. Some claim to feel a sudden drop in temperature when standing near the grave, accompanied by the sensation of unseen eyes watching their every move. Another prominent haunting stems from the mausoleum of Victor Noir, a journalist killed in a duel in 1870. Legend has it that touching the bronze statue atop his tomb brings good fortune in matters of love and fertility. However, many who dare to approach the site recount far less benevolent experiences. Witnesses describe seeing the statue shift ever so slightly when no one is looking, its expression transitioning from serene to menacing. Others report hearing low growls or feeling a sharp pain in their hands after touching the metal, as if the spirit of Noir himself disapproves of the intrusion. Several paranormal investigators have captured EVP recordings near the mausoleum, capturing disembodied voices muttering phrases like, "Leave me alone," and "You shouldn't be here." The cemetery's labyrinthine layout and dense foliage create an atmosphere ripe for paranormal encounters. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Rustling leaves seem to mimic footsteps, leading visitors down paths they hadn't intended to take. One particularly unnerving area is the columbarium, a circular structure housing urns of cremated remains. Employees tasked with maintaining the space often describe hearing muffled sobs and the sound of shattering glass, though no visible source can be found. A maintenance worker once swore he saw a woman in Victorian attire pacing anxiously near the entrance, her face obscured by a veil, before vanishing into thin air. Modern-day investigations into Père Lachaise' supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant cold spots concentrated near certain graves, particularly those associated with violent deaths or unmarked burials. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, especially around older sections of the cemetery. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture fragmented sentences delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless at the foot of Oscar Wilde's tomb, its hands pressed against the stone as if trying to escape. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Père Lachaise continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of art, love, and freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Père Lachaise offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Highgate Cemetery, London's Gothic labyrinth perched on a hill overlooking North London, Highgate Cemetery stands as a testament to Victorian grandeur and Gothic melancholy. A sprawling necropolis where nature has reclaimed its dominion over man-made monuments. Established in 1839, this twin-site cemetery quickly became one of the Magnificent Seven, a group of private burial grounds designed to alleviate overcrowding in urban churchyards. With its towering obelisks, ivy-draped mausoleums, and winding paths shaded by ancient trees, Highgate exudes an aura of timeless elegance. Yet beneath its tranquil facade lies a darker narrative, one steeped in mystery, occult practices, and spectral sightings that have earned it a reputation as one of the world's most haunted cemeteries. One of the most infamous legends tied to Highgate centers around the so-called Highgate vampire, a mythical entity said to haunt the eastern section of the cemetery. First reported in the late 1960s, the vampire allegedly terrorized local residents, preying on livestock and spreading fear throughout the community. While skeptics dismiss the tale as urban legend, paranormal enthusiasts point to numerous eyewitness accounts describing a tall, gaunt figure with glowing red eyes lurking among the tombstones. Investigators exploring the site have captured photographs showing shadowy silhouettes moving through the mist, while others claim to have felt an overwhelming sense of dread upon entering certain areas. To this day, rumors persist that occult rituals performed within the cemetery may have summoned, or awakened, something sinister. Another prominent haunting involves the tomb of Elizabeth Siddal, muse and wife of Pre-Raphaelite painter Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Known for her ethereal beauty and tragic life, Siddal died young from a laudanum overdose, and her grieving husband famously buried a manuscript of unpublished poems with her. Decades later, Rossetti exhumed the coffin to retrieve the work, sparking rumors that her spirit had been disturbed by the desecration. Visitors to her grave report hearing faint singing or the sound of pages rustling, as though someone is reading aloud. Others describe seeing a pale woman in flowing white robes wandering near the tomb, her expression frozen in sorrow. The cemetery's western section, closed to the public since the 1970s due to safety concerns, has gained particular notoriety for its paranormal activity. Overgrown vegetation and crumbling structures create an eerie labyrinth where shadows flicker unpredictably, and disembodied voices echo through empty corridors. Maintenance workers tasked with clearing debris often describe hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn and find no one there. One caretaker swore he saw a child playing hide-and-seek among the gravestones, giggling softly before disappearing entirely. Others report encountering apparitions of monks believed to have been buried in unmarked plots during medieval times. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Highgate Cemetery continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of art, love, and freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Highgate offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, New Orleans. Voodoo enigma. Nestled in the heart of New Orleans, where jazz flows like water and the air hangs heavy with humidity, lies St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, a hauntingly beautiful necropolis that embodies the city's unique blend of culture, mysticism, and tragedy. Established in 1789, this historic burial ground is renowned for its above-ground tombs, a practical solution to the swampy soil that prevented traditional burials. Its narrow pathways, lined with crumbling brick mausoleums and intricate ironwork, evoke a sense of timeless charm, yet beneath its picturesque exterior lies a darker narrative, one steeped in voodoo lore, unsolved mysteries, and spectral encounters that continue to captivate visitors from around the globe. One of the most iconic figures associated with St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 is Marie Laveau, the famed voodoo queen of New Orleans. Buried in a modest tomb marked by 3XS, Laveau's legacy looms large over the cemetery, attracting devotees and skeptics alike. Pilgrims seeking favors or protection often leave offerings, candles, beads, coins, at her grave, scratching additional excess into the stone as part of a ritual believed to summon her spirit. While some swear by the efficacy of these practices, others report unsettling experiences after engaging with the tomb. Witnesses describe hearing faint chanting or rhythmic drumming emanating from the surrounding walls, despite no visible source. Others claim to see a shadowy figure resembling Laveau herself gliding silently through the aisles, her presence accompanied by the scent of herbs and incense. Another prominent haunting involves the Lalaurie Mansion victims, whose remains were relocated to unmarked graves within the cemetery following one of New Orleans' most infamous atrocities. Madame Delphine Lalaurie, a wealthy socialite, was discovered torturing enslaved people in her Royal Street mansion in 1834, sparking outrage and forcing her to flee the city. The spirits of those who suffered under her cruelty are said to linger in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, manifesting as disembodied screams and wails carried by the wind. Visitors recount hearing chains rattling and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. One particularly chilling account came from a tour guide who swore she felt cold metal cuffs snap around her wrists, pulling her backward toward the darkness before releasing her abruptly. The cemetery's maze-like layout and densely packed tombs create an atmosphere ripe for paranormal encounters. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Flickering lights seem to mimic fireflies, leading visitors down paths they hadn't intended to take. One particularly unnerving area is the Society Tomb, a communal burial site reserved for members of fraternal organizations. Employees tasked with maintaining the space often describe hearing muffled conversations and the sound of laughter, though no visible source can be found. A maintenance worker once swore he saw a group of men in period attire gathered near the entrance, their faces obscured by smoke, before vanishing into thin air. Modern-day investigations into St. Louis Cemetery No. 1's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant cold spots concentrated near certain tombs, particularly those associated with violent deaths or unmarked burials. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, especially around older sections of the cemetery. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture fragmented sentences delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless at the foot of Marie Laveau's tomb, its hands pressed against the stone as if trying to escape. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of justice, survival, and resilience. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Recoleta Cemetery, Buenos Aires. City of the Dead. Tucked away in the upscale neighborhood of Recoleta, Buenos Aires, lies Recoleta Cemetery. a sprawling necropolis that rivals the grandeur of European cathedrals and palaces. Established in 1822, this iconic burial ground is home to Argentina's elite, including presidents, military heroes, and cultural icons. Its elaborate marble mausoleums, adorned with statues of angels, lions, and grieving figures, create an atmosphere of opulence and solemnity. Yet beneath its polished surface lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters that have earned it a reputation as one of South America's most haunted cemeteries. One of the most enduring legends tied to Recoleta revolves around the tomb of Rufina Cambaceres, a young woman whose tragic fate has become the stuff of local folklore. According to legend, Rufina was mistakenly declared dead and buried alive after suffering a cataleptic seizure. When gravediggers opened her coffin days later, they discovered scratch marks inside the lid, and her body contorted in agony. Her spirit is said to haunt the cemetery, manifesting as a pale figure clutching her throat. Visitors to her mausoleum report hearing faint scratching sounds emanating from the walls, as though someone, or something, is trying desperately to escape. Others describe seeing her ghostly silhouette pacing restlessly near the entrance, her hollow eyes fixed on some unseen point in the distance. Another prominent haunting involves the Duarte family crypt, where Eva Perón, better known as Evita, is interred. Despite being moved multiple times to ensure her eternal rest, rumors persist that her spirit remains unsettled, unable to reconcile the adoration she received in life with the turmoil that followed her death. Tourists visiting the crypt often report feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them, accompanied by the overwhelming scent of roses, a nod to Evita's nickname, the Spirit of the Rose. Others claim to hear faint whispers or the sound of heels clicking against marble floors, as though someone is pacing anxiously nearby. The cemetery's labyrinthine layout and towering structures create an atmosphere ripe for paranormal encounters. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Flickering lights seem to mimic fireflies, leading visitors down paths they hadn't intended to take. One particularly unnerving area is the Grecian-style temple dedicated to Admiral William Brown, founder of the Argentine Navy. Employees tasked with maintaining the space often describe hearing muffled gunshots and the sound of waves crashing against wooden hulls, though no visible source can be found. A maintenance worker once swore he saw a figure dressed in naval uniform standing at attention near the entrance, saluting before vanishing into thin air. Modern-day investigations into Recoleta Cemetery's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant cold spots concentrated near certain tombs, particularly those associated with violent deaths or unmarked burials. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, especially around older sections of the cemetery. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture fragmented sentences delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless at the foot of Evita's crypt, its hands pressed against the stone as if trying to escape. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Recoleta Cemetery continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of power, fame, and immortality. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Recoleta offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. As we traverse the haunted landscapes of the world's most infamous cemeteries, from the opulent mausoleums of Recoleta to the shadowy crypts of Highgate, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the somber grounds of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. As we bring this chilling journey through the world's most haunted cemeteries to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking tombstone, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted cemeteries yourself. Walk the same paths where spirits are said to roam, stand in the shadow of mausoleums where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken grounds offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of centuries-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting,